Thank you very much for spending some time with us. My name is J.R. Ortiz, and my company is Macrolife Naturals. We're a family company based out of Los Angeles, and my mother is actually the original formulator of the greens product, Macro Greens. She actually made it for me about 13 years ago. We're just passing along some of the brochures here so you can kind of see all the ingredients and some of the bullet points on the formulas, the Macro Greens and Miracle Reds. But just a quick show of hands, how many people have tried our products before? Oh, all right, great. Fantastic, we'd love to see that. All of our products, just to kind of give you a quick overview, are raw, organic, vegan, and certified gluten-free. All those things are definitely important nowadays. We have a lot of people who are really concerned and need to be concerned with their certain foods that they have in their diet. And with that, how many people are vegetarian in the room? Okay, vegan? All right, excellent. Fantastic, we'd love to see that as well. And so with the, I'd like to start with the Macro Greens, and my very good friend Angela Lombardo will be passing around some of the Macro Green sample here that we have, and it's mixed exactly the way my mother did for me about 13 years ago. Like I said, we are based in Los Angeles. And I encourage all of you to take some notes and some key points here. We will be giving you some nice gift baskets when we come see you next time with the little products you can actually take home and use it yourself. Because you probably get the question, what have you used? What have you tried before? And they're looking for, customers are looking for you to give them some great advice. So again, thank you so much for being here. If I may have everybody flip open, there's a little trifold that's being passed around, or even the media kit. Just open that up, and you'll actually see in the greens brochure, you actually see a picture of me about 13 years ago. I was actually a nationally ranked tennis player, even at my heaviest weight. I was about 215 pounds, and I had close to about a 42-inch waist. My father was a pediatrician, and also a PhD in child psychology, and my mother was always a health nut. And they could never understand why they still had an extremely active, chubby kid. And quite frankly, neither could I. And, from being that heavy, I never met a calorie I didn't like. So this is something that, when my mother came to me 13 years ago, they pretty much gave up on my weight loss. My mother was always taking these ingredients in pill and tablet form, like the spirulina, the chlorella, the grapeseed extract, ginkgo, green tea, silymarin for the liver, probiotics, and enzymes. I know that's a lot right there. And you'll see the 38 ingredients in the Macro Greens, and that really comes to about 30 to 40 tablets and capsules a day. She said to herself, there's got to be a better way to do this. And she knew that by getting these ingredients to me would really help me out, but she really didn't know how much it would help. And my father, like I said, he was on the allopathic side, and so it was a real great duality between my mother being on the holistic end and my father being on the allopathic side. So she would say ingredients like silymarin, great for your liver, Dad, and my dad would say, well, show me the research. That's what he wanted to see. So it was it was always great conversations, to put it lightly, with the ingredients. And when she came to me, she said, JR, I'm going to make you something. Instead of taking those horse pills I get you to take in the morning, your multivitamin. And I was all ears. But then she said, it's going to be green. And that's when I kind of looked at her and I said, Ma, you really tried to get me to drink that green stuff before. It's either I just can't get it down, or it literally sends me running to the restroom. I also have a tremendous amount of food allergies. I can't have things like mushrooms, bell peppers, even artichokes. Something I enjoy, just doesn't do very well for me. And so she knew she had a real big task on her hands, because she knew I had a lot of food allergies, so she needed to make it very non-allergenic. Also, I had, from being heavy and on the court, creating a lot of lactic acid in a short period of time, and sweating out all my trace minerals, really made me very, very acidic. And when we become acidic, we crave a lot of sugars and a lot of salts. And that was my biggest problem, is that, my body at that time really only knew that bulk calories equaled energy, And I had to consume so many calories a day so that I'd be able to have enough energy to play the next day. And that strawberry Haagen-Dazs was calling me at night almost every single night, and it's something I really couldn't get a handle on because everybody knows that any diet will work if you stick to it. The problem is people go off the diet or they crave empty calorie foods, because when we crave salt, what do we eat? Cheese, chips, things that come with very low nutrition but very high calories. So my mother poured me a glass of this green stuff, and she said, "Here, give it a shot." So I did. And I'll give it a little taste. It's 40% apple juice and 60% water. And I looked at her and I said, okay, Mom, I can actually drink it. But I got to tell you, before I took my first sip, I told her, I said, "Mom, I love you, but I don't care what you make. If it doesn't taste good, I'm not going to drink it either." And she said, "You're right." So that really goes into how unique our product formula is. Being non-allergenic, raw, organic, vegan, and certified gluten-free. And so when we all get a taste of the greens, I'd like to know what you think. Bless you.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, I said I can actually drink this. So I started drinking it in the morning with my breakfast, then again around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's the time where you kind of get that little bit of a blood sugar dip. And then one more time in the evening with my dinner. And through that, drinking it 3 times a day, for literally about 7.5 months, I lost about 65 pounds. So, and was able to keep it off. And that's really the hardest thing. Yes?
When you blend this, do you blend it with just water or the naturally sweet like this, or do you blend it with fruit juice?
Oh, well, I have it mixed up like this today because this is the way we like to do the passive demos or active demos in your store. So when people are coming around and tasting the product, you have kids that'll even enjoy that. And those, the parents will be bewildered on why their kid is actually finishing that glass of green juice. And that's really why we like to showcase it, how my mother made it for me the first time. So you get the kind of experience it the way I did the first time. We are going to have a great couple sections for some questions and answers after each product. So if we can, I'd love to answer all your questions at that time. And so with that, I'd like for everybody to turn the new nutrition facts of the macro greens, if you could, for me, please. You'll see that the first ingredient in there is certified organic baby barley grass juice powder. We do not use any wheatgrass or alfalfa in our product at all. The main reason for that is because wheatgrass can actually tend to be a little too much of a detoxifier for some people to be taking every single day. And people who are very sensitive to wheat tend to not do that great with wheatgrass. Plus, all the scientific research on the cereal grasses, mainly done by Dr. Hagawara in Japan, really concluded that barley grass is not only more alkaline, but higher in some of the different enzymes like SOD enzyme, superoxide dismutase. With that, you'll see some great ingredients, the usual players in the superfood genre, the spirulina, which is the highest vegetarian source of B12, the chlorella, great source of chlorophyll and trace minerals, but also probiotics. Like I said, my mother was taking these in pill and tablet form, and 18 billion non-dairy probiotic cultures is roughly 3 capsules worth. You'll also see some fantastic science-based ingredients in there as well, like the ginkgo, the green tea, decaffeinated green tea rather, grapeseed extract, silymarin, which is great for your liver and kidneys, as well as some great stress-fighting herbs as well, like the horsetail, the damiana, the suma, and the elithro root, which is actually Siberian ginseng. Somebody actually has a trademark on Siberian ginseng, so we have to use the botanical name elithro roots. That's why you see that on the label. Also, you'll notice some great ingredients in there that really help to harmonize and support the body, like the yucca, the watercress juice powder, and the freeze-dried aloe vera. There's 450 milligrams of freeze-dried aloe vera in every single serving of the macro greens, and that acts as a great delivery system for a lot of nutrients. Plus, it's really good for the GI tract as well. And you have customers coming in for the ingredients I just mentioned, and if you literally purchase them in pill and tablet form, 3 of those, you've already paid for the product. So this is a really great way to save your customers a lot of money by getting your all the nutrients they really are asking for in a very bioavailable source. Your body recognizes these superfoods as just that, a food. There's 50 calories per serving. It's safe for diabetics with 1 gram of naturally occurring sugars. And so your body turns on the gastric juices, tells your body it's receiving some real food, and that's why it really helps to balance out the blood sugar, especially when you're taking it on an empty stomach. Around that 3 or 4 o'clock blood sugar dip, you really do feel a lift. Plus, with the probiotic support and the enzymes, that's something that a lot of people are finding that they need almost on a daily basis because a lot of digestive issues people are recognizing that they have that and they need assistance with it. So that's why we have that much probiotics and enzymes. With that, the pH is very, very important, and that's really where the biggest field of study is. When the greens worked for me, I really wanted to know why. Why did this green stuff work when really nothing else did? So I actually have a biochem background, and through my research and colleagues at UCLA, they've actually put me onto the Medical Corporate Advisory Board for UCLA School of Nursing. I am technically the youngest medical corporate board member in UCLA's history, and my role on the board is to improve patient care through nutrition and to bring science-based ingredients to the forefront of nurse education because that's who's really giving the primary care in the hospitals. Doctors come in, write a few things down, and hand it off to the nurses. And the nurses are there to answer all the questions from the family. What can we do at home to really help follow doctor's orders? And that's really where science-based ingredients really come into play. And they've recognized, my colleagues at UCLA recognize how science-based our formulas truly are, with still being very non-allergenic and serving a broader base of the population. So they feel comfortable standing behind real science-based ingredients. And to kind of bring things full circle, with us being a family company, you might even be familiar with my stepbrother's product that's also in all of your stores, the kombucha tea, Synergy. GT happens to be my stepbrother. And it's kind of funny the way the world works is that, he made his product for his mother, and my mom made our product for me. You'll see a tremendous amount of similarities in both product lines, in the fact that they're both organic, raw, vegan, probiotic fortified, but the reason people feel so great on kombucha, as well as our product, is because it's alkalizing. That's really the biggest key, is that you really want to bring alkaline foods into your daily lifestyle, because that really helps to balance out that extra acid, because everything causes acid. Exercise creates lactic acid. Stress, you've ever had a stressful phone call or an encounter, that you get that kind of queasy feeling in your stomach? Well, that's acid. Your body goes into the fight or flight mode because it's stressed. Any stressors, they pour acid into the system. So that's something we really want to try to balance out throughout the day. And so with that, I'm actually the lead formulator in the Miracle Reds, and all my research has basically gone into different antioxidants, diffuse different free radicals, and how do we get those most bioavailable. But before I move on, I'd like to answer any questions about the macro greens, or if you'd like any more of the sample, I'm sure Angela can pour a little bit, but he's going to be pouring the Miracle Reds for you right now. So I'd like to open up the floor for some questions. Yes, sir.
Oh, I just had a question looking at your ingredients here. Some ingredients seem to be certified organic while others aren't.
Correct.
And then I noticed the spinach powder wasn't organic. I was just...
Correct. We're actually using a fractionized version of spinach as the ocostarol powder. So these are just the few ingredients. And the reason why we did that, it's a very good question, is because we recognize that people who are on blood thinners, like Coumadin, very commonly prescribed, they cannot have a lot of vitamin K. So we still wanted to get the antioxidant properties of spinach without a lot of the vitamin K aspect of it as well, to really make it very non-allergenic and safe for people who are on commonly prescribed medications. The product is 86% organic. The ingredients that cannot be considered organic are the enzymes and the probiotics. Some of the standardized herbs in there as well. And the probiotics and enzymes are actually considered pharmaceutical grade.